adjusting to life outside prison walls, plus parent-child educator Penny Warner.
Welcome to People Are Talking on another beautiful summer day. You know, I told you Tuesday that I think the commemorative stamp that's coming out next month is going to be in Braille to commemorate the International Year of the Disabled. Well, the post office is also trying to do something else. They're trying to get a little revenue, as we all are, and they're trying to think of different ways to do it. And what they're going to do is perhaps put advertising on the back of stamps. Can you imagine? The part you lick is going to have advertising on it. And I'm trying to think of who would advertise on the back of stamps, like lick cancer in our lifetime or something. I don't know.
Possibly. It
Yes,
could be that, something
right.
like that. Or but we're just hoping, knowing the way the post office works, that they don't put all the advertising in Braille.
Right.
Because then you'll end up licking the stamp and it won't stick.
Yes, and that could happen.
Yeah, that possibly could happen. Well, it's been downhill so far. We've only been on about a minute and a half, and we're dying already. A little later on the program, Penny Warner is going to be with us, and she's going to be doing children's fashions.
Yes, and there's some good news for those of you who haven't read the newspaper. Richard Thomas, John Boy from the Waltons, his wife gave birth to triplets yesterday. Ladies, 6 pounds apiece.
Changing his name to John Mann.
Real fast.
Hey, if you ever committed a serious felony, chances are that you would go to prison, possibly for life, but in most cases, you would eventually be released. What, back out into society? You have to kind of rekindle the family ties, look for a new job. It's like starting a whole new life, but with an awful lot more against you. This morning on People Are Talking, you're going to meet a number of ex-cons who are doing that very thing right now, and you're going to meet a lady who helps them make that transition from prison to society. Would you please welcome the co-president of the Delancey Street Foundation, Dr. Mimi Silbert.
Nice to see you, Mimi.
Terrific to be
Mimi's
here.
been with us quite a bit. Mimi, tell me, how many ex-cons do you think end up back in prison because they just can't make it on the outside?
I would guess that well over 90% of them keep returning back over and over and over. It's very few people go to prison and say, oh my goodness, now that I've been punished, I really see what I did wrong. I think I'm never going to do it again.
Why that high percentage, then?
Well, okay, let's look at a number of things. One is the people who set up the system are generally like you and me and a lot of people in our audience. Now, for most of us who have a lot to lose, prison would be a horrible thing. We are not streetwise, we don't know how to fight well, we couldn't survive in it, and it's humiliating. We lose our family, our respect, our social standing. For most of the people who commit the kinds of crimes that end them up in prison, they have nothing to lose. And the only things they're good at are the things that go on in prison. Manipulating, fighting,
So
trying to
much more
maneuver.
comfortable in prison than out
Absolutely,
in
much more comfortable.
Supposed to real life. Are prisons in any way supposed to be a rehabilitation center?
I think that there's been a pretense of their doing that for a number of years, and that it's only compounded the problem. There are several things you can do as a response to crime. One is separation, in which you simply say, I'm going to get this person away from me. I don't care what else happens. I want them removed from society. Prisons can do that. Two is punishment. I want it tough enough for them so that they really suffer. Prisons don't do that really well. The conditions are very bad, but prisoners are not asked to take responsibility for anything. They don't have to work. They don't have to pay their way. The very problems that they have, which are being completely irresponsible about life, are only exacerbated in prison. In prison, they pump iron all day, every day if they want, in horrible conditions. The third is rehabilitation. The major problem with most people committing crimes and going to prison is they don't know how to interact with people and with society in any kind of legitimate way. They don't know how to get what they want the right way. Now, they need to learn that at some point if they're ever going to be rehabilitated. You can't teach someone how to live in society by removing them from society. So you can never rehabilitate in a prison.
Now, how does Delancey Street Foundation come into the life of an ex-con? Do you go into the prisons? Do they, once they get out, seek help from you?
Always. We've been around for 10 years. At the beginning, we went everywhere, letting everyone know that we existed and they should come. Now, they come to us. About 60% come from the criminal justice system in some way. That is, they come before prison, instead of prison, and after prison, because they've been so institutionalized in prison that they don't know how to live.
What are some of the things you do? I mean, how do you help let me ask you, when they leave prison, okay, that's the day of release, what do they get? Besides maybe knowing they're going to Delancey Street, does the state, I mean, we always thought they had $10 in the newspaper or something.
Right. They really get nothing.
Any money?
I don't know what the latest thing is.
We have a number of
$5 or $10.
Would anybody mind answering that? Keith?
You receive about $200 in certain payments. You'll receive about anywhere from $50 to $100 at the gate when you leave, and the remainder of the money is given to your parole officer to, I guess, ensure your first visit, and then he'll give you the remainder of the money.
Well, they trust you right from the beginning. You're making the leaving. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you get in the way of clothes? Any clothes?
The clothes that you have to, if you don't have clothes other than prison clothes that say you've received from families sending them to you, you have to purchase from the state. Mm-hmm. And they're very poorly made. They're just to leave prison with, that's all.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll find out exactly what does Delancey Street do for our ex-cons. Then we'll be talking to the ex-cons themselves. What were they in for, and how are they making that adjustment in society? We'll be right back.
With Dr. Mimi Silbert, who is co-founder of Delancey Street Foundation, and we're finding out what they do for ex-cons. Now, once you contacted, I wanted to, because I think maybe some of our listening audience might be curious, you said you could get them before they go into prison. In other words, if one of these gentlemen is convicted of a crime and is supposedly supposed to be sent to prison, they can opt for Delancey Street other than prison?
In some instances, the judges will allow them to take an alternative rather than...
Isn't that
in most cases, first-time offenders, I would imagine.
Most cases,
but isn't that a huge responsibility for you?
Offenders. We want responsibility. One of the exciting things about Delancey Street over the 10 years is that we have found that we are extremely successful. Almost all the people who stay with us and graduate make it. And nothing else that I know of is really turning people around, and that responsibility is a huge one, and we want to grab every chance.
What exactly do you do?
Okay. What we do is to re-educate the people who come to us on absolutely every level of existence. We re-educate them vocationally first. The majority of them have never worked at a job for 6 months straight.
Is there anybody of the ex-cons we have here who have worked 6 months or more at a job? Do you mind answering that?
Yeah. Yes, I've worked for a year at the longest.
A year at the longest. Nobody else raised their hand. We have.
Yeah.
What,
Randolph?
Yes, I think I worked the longest was 6.5 months. About it.
They are generally unskilled. The majority of them are illiterate. Those who are not read and write at the 5th grade level, so that we educate them in traditional education. They get a high school equivalency, And then we have about 150 out of 350 residents in colleges right now. So they go on to advanced learning. We educate them interpersonally because aside from saying, "Hey, man, what you think?" with one another all day, they really don't know how to speak with people. So we have groups 3 nights a week in which they take care of one another. We have seminars every morning and every afternoon on every conceivable subject, from concepts of life through how to dress, how to set a...
Is there any bitterness on your part, someone talking like this? Say, I mean, that a good percentage of ex-cons are illiterate. They don't know how to talk in any kind of meaningful conversation?
Sonny.
No, well, it's the truth. See, people have been telling us things that we wanted to hear so long that when you hear the truth, well, you look at it and you start dealing with it. You say, well, I need to learn how to speak. I need to learn how to carry myself like a gentleman, you know, because I never did that before.
Has this, obviously, Sonny, I mean, I can just tell from your whole demeanor, has this given you a tremendous amount of confidence?
Yes, it has.
In yourself?
Yes, it has.
Let's get an idea, and you only have to say it if you want to. How long or how many times you've been in prison, and what were you in for? Does anybody want to tell us that? Yes, Abe.
I've been in prison about 10 years, robberies, burglaries, a lot of drugs.
Off and on for 10 years or a 10-year sentence?
Off and on for 10 years total.
Randolph?
Yes, I've been in prison for 5 years, and for burglaries and drugs.
Can I, Keith?
I was about 6.5 years in San Quentin.
For what, Keith? Did you mind?
Mainly drug charges, but burglaries, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charlie.
17 years. You name it. Petty larceny, burglaries, narcotics.
Can I ask
anything over.
all of you, did you start out as juveniles, delinquents? Did you start crime at an early age? Most of you, Leroy?
I did. I started at the age of 12.
12. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, it was 14, 15 years old, starting getting involved with the same types of people that you end up meeting throughout your stay in and out of jails and prisons.
Is it really, are prisons pretty much a college for crime?
They are. You gain acceptance by having the qualities that a good criminal has.
What are some of those qualities?
Well, if you are intelligent to the ways of crime, if you're a tough individual, you gain acceptance. I think that's the biggest fear when a person goes in, is of not being accepted, and you will do anything to get that acceptance.
Do you have to be part, I mean, we hear a lot about the gangs in prisons. Do you have to be a part of one gang or another, or can you be by yourself? Abe?
Most of us who are here have been, you know, but we're not going to tell you that. Because once you belong to a gang, it's like in there so crazy that it's serious, and once you leave the gang, there's always retribution for your family members, possibly your friends and stuff. And it exists because it's a way of surviving. You come in, you're a scared kid if you're the first time, or even if you're the second or third time around. You go to the group or the gang that of your race, usually, and you get acceptance because that's the way for you to survive. That's the way for you to make it. And then you go along with whatever is happening. Whatever they do, you do, because if you don't, then they'll turn against you. So you just go kind of along with the program that's going on.
It's really a means of survival, then.
Exactly.
Wow. What other things does Delancey Street do as far as helping to re-educate an ex-con?
Okay, we teach people, I think the primary word that I would use about what we do is a concept of mutual restitution. And that is that we give our people all the skills that they really have not had to go out and survive and make it legitimately in society. And then we teach them to make restitution back to society. Now, they can't all turn around and help the victim of the particular crime that they committed, but they can give back to society by working with seniors and working with poor kids and working with the handicapped, because crime and prisons really are hand in hand a problem of the part of our society that people just don't want to deal with. And our belief is that we owe one another. It's like climbing a mountain. We're all in it together, and if we all hold on to one another's hands, we'll make it up. And one very interesting point, and probably the most important reason Delancey Street works so well, is we have no staff. Myself and John Maher, who are the presidents of the foundation, are the only two people who are not currently residents getting cured. Everyone in there is taking care of everyone else. That's how the place works. So no one is the person being helped. Everyone is the person who's helping, and that's so critical. All of you in the audience know the time you feel the best in life and the most useful and the most important is when you're doing for someone else and you've got something to give. No one's all that happy being on the receiving end of anything, money, therapy, and that's what we've done to our essential criminal classes. We just keep giving them. Some people give them bad things, some people give them good things, but no one needs from them.
We've got a couple of messages for you. I'd like to know when we come back, ask the ex-cons, is it easier to be in prison or out here dealing with people like you and me? Dr. Mimi Silbert is with us this morning. She's co-president of the Delancey Street Foundation, and we also have a number of ex-cons in the audience. We're talking about that adjustment from prison to society. And as we went away, I mentioned, is it easier to be in prison or out here dealing with folks like in our audience this morning and our viewers and me and so forth? Yes.
Yes, I find it much easier to be in prison because there's less responsibilities. You know, you don't have to deal with anything that you have to deal with in everyday life. You don't have to deal with that. And it's a much easier escape, you know, that's all it is. It's easier.
But yet you're a member of a part of Delancey Street now, so you're making an effort to take more responsibility on.
Yes, I'm making an effort to accept those responsibilities, and as I go on, now it's becoming easier to accept them, you know. And
That's good. B, you had a question.
Oh, I just wanted to know, do they have jobs now?
Yes, one of the other wonderful things about Delancey Street is that we are not funded in any way. We have never taken one dime of government money. We earn all our own money. Very revolutionary concept that we have. We earn our money. And we earn them by 10 training schools, which serve two purposes. They teach the people skills, and they provide the money that we live by, and everyone in here works.
What kind of things do you do? Mike, what do you do?
I work as a mechanic for the foundation. We have quite a few vehicles, and we do all our own service work, for everything from tune-ups to rebuilding the engines completely. And we run a training program in that garage for people who want to learn to work on cars. I had some background when I came in, so I can give that experience to some other people, too.
Now, when you were in prison, were you able to do anything like that?
In prison, it's not, working is a hard thing to do. To get a job that you really learn at is not the primary concern of a person, more the acceptance type thing. You're not looked upon with, really respected for having a good, honest job in prison that just doesn't exist.
If you got a good scam going, are you more respected?
That's more the type of thing you want to get going.
Ron, what do you do?
I work in sales and order processing, and I'm learning that realm from the art to the order process and actual sales. I had the opportunity to go all over the country and sell our products, and we do that, and we have several other companies. Mr. Hickey here.
Yeah, I manage our moving school. We teach the fellows how to drive trucks, and we operate as a licensed mover here in the city.
That's great. So, I mean, if I wanted to move in the city, I would call Delancey Street.
Absolutely.
I buy my Christmas tree.
Okay, one of the big questions a lot of people are watching and say, I'm not going to have a bunch of ex-cons in my house. I mean, you did larceny and burglary. I mean, why am I going to let you in my house to move my product, my goods, my jewelry, my...
because they are ex-cons and not doing that anymore. In the 10 years of our history, we have never had an arrest. We've never had an incident of violence. We have probably a safer, healthier family, all 350 of us, than most cross-sections of families that you took anywhere in the country.
Carlin.
I was wondering, at what time does a person that serves some time in jail all of a sudden earn the label of convict?
Well, I think people are considered convicts as soon as they are in prison, and the second that they cross out of that door, they become ex-convicts.
Well, I think, are you talking about a jail sentence, a jail versus prison? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe just your little local jail.
Okay, you went to city jail. Is that what you're saying? Are you a convict when you get out?
Well, if you went to city jail and you intended to continue crime, what you would do is what most people who've only gone to jail for a few months do. You would expand your record and talk tougher than the people here who have all served many years in state prisons. Now, the thing to try to remember is that while the word convict conjures up things that most of us are nervous about, to the people in that life, it conjures up all of the things they want to be, and they will use the term on themselves even if
Keith
they've
is
never
shaking his
set
head.
foot
Yes, you're agreeing with all this, aren't you?
in jail.
Mimi's exactly right. That's what it means in the literal sense of it. Also, if a person who is convicted of a felony, whether or not he goes to state prison, is a convict. I mean, that's what it means. But then there's the thought in the mind, the mentality of a convict, and you can attain that whether or not you're in state prison, like they do in juvenile halls. They try to imitate a certain type of person that they think is a convict, how a convict should act. So it actually starts in places like juvenile halls and city jails and places like that.
I wonder what the toughest facet of making that adjustment is for these gentlemen. We got a couple of commercials, and maybe they'll have some ideas next.
About the readjustment for an ex-con this morning with Dr. Mimi Silbert. And Keith is an ex-con that's in our audience, and I must say, as I'm sitting here listening to the discussion this morning, I looked at Keith and I thought, well, you know, he looks like a couch kid. And then Mimi described what Keith looked like when he came to Delancey Street, what, 6 months or so ago? Maybe, Keith, you could describe for us how you looked when you were in prison.
Well, I've been in Delancey Street for 2 years now, and when I was in San Quentin, or even before I was in San Quentin, I always, my hair was very long, and I had a wild beard, and I just looked like a maniac. But I was comfortable with this appearance. I mean, I thought I looked great. And then when I got to Delancey Street, and everyone tries to look like normal society. I mean, and after a while, you like it. I mean, it just becomes normal to you, and I think I look great. You know, I like...
You do. All of you do. You look fabulous.
I imagine one of the regulations is when you got to Delancey Street, man, the beard and the hair is coming off. How do you feel about that?
I had known about this before I arrived, and I was resigned to that fact, and I was serious about making some change in my life, and the hair and the beard didn't stand up to that.
Yeah.
So they had to come off, and they did.
Jane. Where's Jane? Yeah. Fran?
Yeah. How long was he in prison? He said.
About 6 years.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't hear him.
About 5 years. All of these gentlemen have been in ranging from 5 to 18 years, 17 years.
Charlie, what are you doing? What's your job at...
I'm working as a salesman. I do the same thing as Ron does. Only I go to colleges across country, 50 states. We service colleges with imprinted items.
Do you ever get the urge to commit a crime again?
Only when I'm playing an encounter session.
You have encounter sessions?
Yes,
and what
3
do they
times
do?
a week, in which everyone is encouraged to verbally dig in and say all of the things that they can't talk about during the day. Our days are very strict, in which everyone follows their boss's orders and leads a kind of exemplary life. When they go into the groups, they're encouraged to talk about every fleeting thought of wanting a shot of drugs when they felt negative, so they can get it out of their systems and be able to continue again.
Well, you know, you're walking down the street, and it's like having a drink. Boy, that looks good. And you see a camera in somebody's car, and the window's open. I mean, it'd be real easy to take the camera.
I've had the experience that, see, I did a little fundraising also. And I meet people all the time. We work sometimes at tables. And this one man I know passed by. He didn't stop. In fact, he was very rude to me. He didn't stop, but he had a lot of bags and packages in it. And he dropped his wallet. He was walking fast. I don't want to do nothing with you. The guy had all kinds of savings. I had all kinds of credit cards and everything, money in his wallet. So he come back feeling around, looking. And I asked him, I says, "Are you looking for this?" And before I come to Delancey Street, I just saw him.
I didn't say anything, sure. Good for you, Charlie. That's terrific. Yeah.
Sonny.
And what's another thing that's important about it, we don't work too hard to sell out for so low. I mean, it's not worth going back through all that humility, embarrassment, hurting your family, people that you care about. I mean, we really didn't know then. I mean, there wasn't nothing wrong with taking $100 or robbing someone or committing a burglary or shooting dope or selling dope to some of the kids in the neighborhood. It means a lot to us now because people in Delancey that gave their concern, their love, they stayed up with us, they made us through all that agony of wanting to go get loaded, wanting to commit another burglary. So when you reach that point where you can look at it and you say, well, getting loaded is not worth all the things I have earned in my life, and I'd rather die before I shoot some dope or before I go commit a burglary or a robbery. Because of all the people, the input that people put into you, and that you see that yourself, that you are a human being, that you do feel good about your life, that you are someone. Regardless if you're black, white, brown, or green. We all live together and we care about one another. And in society, people don't do that. When you get out of jail, the only thing they do, they look at you, you look healthy, you sound healthy. A week later, you don't have any money. See? So then the best thing, the people in the neighborhood that you grew up with, that you saw in jail, they say, I got it, I got dope. And then you have no other option. In Delancey Street, we have 1 million options. You learn different trades. We teach our people to know more than one trade. You need to know 3 or 4. You should go to school. Matter of fact, we hound on people and pound on them to make them go to school. See, I was uneducated when I came to Delancey Street. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to communicate with people, so I just looked at them. And you never learn anything because you always feel that you know more than they do. Well, I'm not going to let them know that I don't know how to spell, I don't know how to read that good. And then once you let your images down and let people know that you don't know that, then they can reach out and they can help you.
Well, you certainly do well now.
I want to ask you, do you watch TV at San Quentin?
That's about all you do.
Did you ever watch us?
No, I don't think I did.
Well, we're not going to talk to Keith anymore. But I'm curious, because we have gotten a few letters from San Quentin, and I think we are seen by some of the people who know good television, Keith. How many convicts in San Quentin right now who may be watching are saying to you guys, hey, you sold out? Gabe?
Probably every one of them.
But do you think they deep down envy you when they take that barrier away? If they were to really make themselves vulnerable, they envy the position you're in right now?
That only happens like once in a great moon.
You can't afford to take that barrier down. I mean, the thing people have to understand is if you've got nothing to replace this absurd image with, then you can't afford to get rid of it. And that's the position most of them are in. They have to believe their own malarkey.
Okay, we're going to go away. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Dr. Maybe Silbert is here. We're chuckling. We should share it, I think. Willie Carter Spann was on our program a couple of years ago. And he was a great guest, and he was talking about how his life really had been messed up, and he was a bad name for the family, and he really wanted to straighten out. And he wanted a job.
And so people from our viewing audience called in, electricians, television sales place. Yeah, we'll give him. He had about 16 jobs before the show even closed that day.
And 5 days didn't go past. He was in the jug again, and he's been in so much trouble since then. And you all kind of laugh because you understand that, don't you? But how do you know we wanted to believe him?
Well, the same thing when people come to Delancey Street and we interview them, they say, a lot of them come saying, I really want to change and I really want to help. And then when you ask them to empty their pockets, they have dope in it. And then you have to take it and you destroy it, throw it away. See, we know, because we went through it.
So they're not fooling you at all?
No.
Dave?
I guess people won't know. But we just need the opportunity and the chance. For myself personally, if it had been for Delancey, I don't think I would ever had that chance. I have been doing time since I was like 9, 10, all the way up till I came to Delancey Street. I never knew no other life. I can't blame people for not giving me a chance. I mean, why should they trust me? But Delancey Street did, and the people there did. And that's the chance that I needed. You know, with the care and everything that Mimi has spoken about, I was able to turn myself around.
Helen, excuse me.
I want to put something in because it's just as important with all the care and concern that the toughness be there. Let's not mistake the fact, and every one of these guys will tell you, they are vicious and mean and nasty because that's all they've learned how to be at the beginning. And along with a lot of opportunity has to be a lot of strict rules and caring enough about people to be tough enough with them to say, no, no more, that's over. And we have lots of strict rules. No drugs, no alcohol, no violence, no threat of violence. Our people are with us an average of 3 to 4 years before they graduate. It's very difficult. And the harshness is as important as the concern, as long as they go hand in hand.
Well, you talked about the toughness. What about the softness? How do you teach these men to be soft? I mean, with each other, with, you know, their families, with, you know, potential wives and
Leroy
such?
has an idea on that.
With me, when I came to Delancey Street, it was like, I didn't know I wanted to stay there until I was on the bench, and I heard I was lucky enough, John Maher was giving a seminar, and he was speaking about all nationalities, white, black, Puerto Rican, coming together, doing something about changing their lives in the system. And it was then that I know that I wanted to stay. And after being at Delancey Street, it was the hardest thing I've ever done because I had to change my image. I had to begin educating myself. I had to become in touch with myself. I wasn't using any drugs, so I was doing this on the natch, so to speak. And the more I became aware of myself, the more afraid I was in a sense, but the more compassion that I began to develop for people, a love for people, till at this point, and when I communicate with people, it's because I genuinely want to help them. In the past, all my life has been because I wanted to beat them out of something. So it just comes naturally.
What about the other socialization?
You know, there are so many difficult things that you don't realize. Some of these people are 45 years old. They've come out of prison. They've been in there, as they've told you, through all their adolescence. The sex that they have had has either been violent prison sex or when they were loaded and pimping on the street. So the most difficult of relationships, ranging all the way from their intimate ones with people that they date, all the way through talking with America on people are talking, have to be relearned. And that takes, to do that with one another, takes an enormous amount of care, and probably one of the most important ingredients at Delancey Street, humor. We laugh at ourselves all the time, and I think it keeps us healthy.
Gets you through a lot, doesn't it? We do have to mention here, mostly about men, because we only have men in the audience this morning, but Delancey Street puts out a helping hand to women, too. So if you have a problem, and maybe you'd like to have Delancey Street give you some support, they're at 2563 Divisadero in San Francisco. You can either offer some help financially, too. You wouldn't mind that, would you?
Oh, we'd suffer through it.
The number is 563-5326, and I think if you've watched the whole show this morning, you can see the tremendous work Delancey Street is doing.
Before we go, is there an age limit? Because a lot of people
We can't take children. But
up to what age?
From 18 on, you can come.
Okay.
Gentlemen, you're something else. Best of luck to all of you, and you're obviously going to make it.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. We got Penny Warner next. Stay tuned with a little fashion show for you, for little folks.